Alright, this one I've been trying to get my hands on since last year, 2021. When I first heard about this fragrance, it was a flanker to the sort of popular, very discounted fragrance White from Lalique. This is Lalique's White in Black. I even discussed it in a soon-to-be-released fragrances video, but I never got my hands on it because I don't think it really got an official launch. Even its distributor didn't really release this particular fragrance. So finally, White and Black is at discounters, and I took a dive and bought it blind. It was selling for around 50 bucks, and I'm enjoying it. Yes, it's reminding me of another fragrance, but I think it's a quality release from a designer. Nothing like the original White. They're two different fragrances, although they kind of use similar notes. So this one pulls some of the notes from here and takes it into more of a deeper territory, a little more sweeter territory. Either way, today I'm going to let you know all about White and Black from Lalique, which fragrances it reminds me of, and how it compares to Lalique's White, all coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today I'm talking about Lalique White and Black. This one I've been excited for, but as I said, it's not really gotten its official launch, and it's kind of feeling like it was something like this Lalique fragrance, Ombre Noire, which actually the same perfumer created this. Ombre Noire is a great fragrance. It never got its official launch. A couple years later, it did end up at some discounters, and I ended up buying a bottle, but I think it's completely gone. I really enjoy Ombre Noire. I think it's a great scent. I think it's a boozy tobacco from what I remember. It's been a while. I've stored it away as a fragrance you can't get your hands on. But as I said, it's the same perfumer, Karine Dubreuil-Sereni. Is that how you pronounce her name? But she did that along with this one. But it is a perfumer I've seen names come up, or her name come up frequently. She's done Gucci Pour Homme 2. Of course, she did the Lalique Ombre Noire. She's also done Maubussin's Une Histoire d'Homme Irresistible. She did Molton Brown's Bizarre Brandy. So she's doing some, fragrances. She's definitely creating fragrances. And this one doesn't disappoint, but the only thing that disappoints about this particular fragrance is that it does remind me of a few other fragrances. And when you compare it to one of the other fragrances, it definitely doesn't have the longevity. But at a discounted price of around $50 for a 125 ml bottle, I think it's definitely worth it. But either way, I'll let you know all the details for White and Black. Before I do though, if this is your first time that you've tuned into my channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do click that subscribe button and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. And yes, I do a lot of giveaways here, so if you turn on your notification, you will definitely not miss out on claiming your prize. I know there's some people that still do not come forward to claim their prize, but if you turn on that notification, you will be notified. Alright, so this is a 2021 launch. As I said, the perfumer is Karine Dubreuil-Sereni, and she's done some great fragrances. This suggested retail price is 125 ml for $135. But I picked it up at a discounter for 50 bucks approximately. So as soon as I got it, I wore it and I, enjoyed it. I ended up buying a few more just to have on hand. And as I said, I don't know the status of this particular fragrance. Is it similar to this? I wish I had bought a couple more backup bottles of this. I didn't. That's why it's in its box. It's stored away. This is Ombre Noire I'm talking about. Also Lalique, also the same perfumer. So because of this status issue and not having an official release, I ended up buying a few bottles. Something that's unique about this particular fragrance, it comes in a box like this, and it comes with a pencil, a white pencil. Apparently you're supposed to write, I don't know, something, whatever you feel like on this fragrance with this white pencil, because the bottle itself is a very matte finish. So I guess, yeah, it does write, and I am going to show you what I wrote right there. Hello. Well, that's kind of a unique thing. I haven't seen that ever before. So it makes it for a kind of a personalized fragrance experience with that particular fragrance. First, I'm going to tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Layton from the house of Parfums de Marly. And if you've always been wanting a bottle of Parfums de Marly's Layton and you always felt like it was very expensive, this does sell. It's a 125 ml bottle, same size. I think it's 125. It could be 120, but I think it's 125. And it does sell for about $350, I believe, or it could be about $300. I'm forgetting the price point on this particular fragrance. But this one currently is at around 50 bucks. Totally worth it to have as a replacement for this. Sure, it's not going to act as strong as this particular fragrance, but I think it's still a great alternative. You can replenish a couple of times to make it last because it smells really, really pleasant. The other thing it reminds me of is Zadig and Voltaire's This Is Him, but not as much as Layton. This to me is vanilla without that lavender, but there's the smoky incense and a little bit of grapefruit in here and the sandalwood note. These two have the lavender, and the Zadig and Voltaire does not have the lavender. So it does remind me of both of them, but less of the Zadig and Voltaire. This Is Him, more of the Parfums de Marly Layton. But this has notes of vanilla, cardamom, lavender, pink pepper, patchouli, bergamot, elemi, olibanum, Ambroxan, Tolu balsam, grapefruit. So the noticeable difference between these two are that even though they remind us of one another, I get more of a dry experience with this and I get more of a vanillic experience with this. So this seems to be a little sweeter than this particular fragrance. Other than that, I feel like they're very, very close fragrances. So it's that combination of that cardamom, very, very spicy, aromatic, kind of a pungent smell that I really love. I love the smell of cardamoms. If you ever opened up a jar or a little box of cardamom, the pods, smell it. Amazing. It's a great smell. It's captured here perfectly, and it's also blended perfectly with the vanilla. And then you've got that lavender note come in to kind of like, contribute to its kind of aromatic touches, but less spicy, more aromatic, more herbal, kind of a floral experience here. But it's kind of a, who's who of sweet vanilla with spices. And then, of course, some patchouli comes in, some citruses. There is the grapefruit here, which I believe is also here. And then, of course, it's in the Zadig and Voltaire. But this one also has that Tolu balsam, and I feel like that adds more sweetness to the fragrance in addition to the vanilla. That's why I feel like it's a little sweeter experience in comparison to Layton. But once you get past that sweetness, you kind of like put that off your mind. It will remind you of Layton for sure, with a little bit of that This Is Him thrown in. This does have a little bit of a smokiness from the olibanum, kind of like an incense smoke. So that is there as well, but it's not as strong. It's a nice contrast. So overall, it's a great smelling fragrance. It's kind of clone-ish, I guess. I don't know what Lalique was trying to do. Were they trying to emulate or create something similar to this? Or did they basically take white and say, okay, let's take these notes from white and then make them into this particular fragrance if we add a few like sweet notes or things like that? Because they're totally different smells completely. And white to me feels like it's still spicy and woody, but more of a pure, like there's a pureness about it. It's like a clean, spicy experience. That's why it's in white. I like that about it. It's the white. It's pure. It's also kind of a skin scent. It's meant to be soft, easy to wear, citrusy, spicy. Because this one came out in 2008, and it's created by Christine Nagel, who is now the in-house perfumer at Hermes. But it features the black pepper, petitgrain, tamarind, elemi resin, cardamom, nutmeg, violet, cedar, musk, oak moss, and amber. So basically they've got the cardamom moved over, they've got the elemi resin moved over, but pretty much stops there, and the rest of the fragrance is completely different. So they're kind of taking this particular into a very warm, spicy, woody direction, which I think they've accomplished. They've done a good job with it. It's just I was having issues with the longevity. It's not necessarily completely a fragrance that disappears right away, but I was getting, somewhere around 5 hours, maybe pushing it to close to 6 hours, but it does become a skin scent pretty quickly, an hour and a half into the wearing fragrance. I don't like to discuss the longevity of a fragrance because everybody experiences fragrances differently. That's also environmental issues. Did you just recently wash, bath? Did you spray it on? All those kind of things come into factor. But for me, I was getting anywhere from 5 to 5.5 hours, pushing 6 hours with this one, which is not bad for a $50 fragrance that smells really, really great, because it does really, really smell great. I think it's a great fragrance. I've always loved Layton. And now I have kind of a slightly sweeter take on a Layton fragrance. So I think it's definitely worth it if you are into the market of finding something great to wear, a great designer fragrance with a great smell to wear. Go ahead and get yourself a bottle. I think if you want to, you know, make it last longer, I think you can also, you know, do something like a primer experience where you get like a molecule 1 or molecule 2 or molecule 4 even. I think molecule 4 would be perfect for this with that whole sandalwoody, you know, creaminess. Spray that on, let it dry, and then spray this on. Yeah, it might alter the smell a little bit, but I think the sandalwood in there, which is also prominent in here, will complement the notes in here to create a kind of a unique experience, and also kind of to extend the life of the fragrance. Or you can go with molecule 1, molecule 2, which are not so strong in the smell, and you do the same thing. You spray it on, let it dry, and then spray this on top, and then the longevity will be extended. But yeah, it's solid release. I don't know how long it'll be at the discounters. Check it out and go find it. It's not at your traditional discounters. There are more random discounters, and I took advantage of them from a couple of different shops. The first one was, they're very like forgettable names, unfortunately, so I just found it online and bought them. And you know, I use my American Express to buy these kind of places from places I haven't bought before, and so if anything happens, I can dispute the charge. But with this one, I bought it from one place once, and then when I got it and was enjoying it, I went back and bought it from Joma's shop. I bought 2 more bottles, as I said. So anyway, check those out if you like warm, spicy, aromatic fragrances, vanillic, resinous, ambery, you know, aromatic, spicy like lavender. Definitely check this one out. It's cool that you can put your little signature on it as well. That's kind of cool about this with that little pencil. Definitely worth it, I think, as a great designer release, because Lalique is a, you know, glass brand. They used to make bottles for very famous perfume brands before. Now they have their own fragrances, which is a given that they would. So having a designer release like this as a designer fragrance, I think is great because it smells original. It really smells great. But sadly, things like this don't get sold at Macy's or places like that, so you'll have to figure it out. I really like this perfumer. I've spoken about Maubussin's Une Histoire de Homme Irresistible quite a bit. I think she did a great job on that fragrance. She did Gucci pour Homme 2, which has been such an amazing fragrance that's gotten discontinued. Of course, Lalique's Ombre Noire is also great. It's a really, really great boozy tobacco fragrance. And of course, this one is also really, really great. Anyway, those are my thoughts for White and Black from Lalique, a 2021 launch that I'm getting my nose on at the beginning of 2022. Have you gotten your nose on this one? Let me know. Are you a fan of Layton? Do you like This Is Him by Zadig and Voltaire? And did you ever like this one, this Lalique White? There should be a black pen for this so I can write hello on both and do kind of like an Instagram pic of the 2 of them. Either way, that's my thoughts for today for Lalique's White and Black. Let me know what your thoughts are on this particular fragrance. Do you get good longevity with White and Black, or is it more of a kind of a very moderate and below average kind of a performance? I'd like to find out. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.